the first interviewee that I had was my husband. Some background on him. He's a professional athlete, so he does have practice calendars and doctor's appointments and things that he needs to keep track of. So I started out with, how do you plan for your life and keep things on track? And he says his phone. He keeps it on his iPhone calendar app. So I asked, how do you add new entries? And he said that he adds new entries as they come up. So say there's a doctor's appointment, the day that he calls, while he's on the phone with the doctor, he will be entering in the doctor's name that he's going to be seeing, the time that he's scheduled for, and will also include the location so he can go into the event, click on the location, and get directions immediately through that, just so he feels like he has a seamless process. And then, while he's at the doctor, if there's a reschedule or, a follow-up appointment, he'll also enter it in there just so he has it. And then dating back, what he does with his schedule is he gets this at the beginning of the season, and it's a 7-month schedule, and he will go through and enter in his schedule day by day, from practices to physical therapy to games to the dates that they're traveling. This really helps when he's planning ahead and we're looking ahead for the week just to see what things are going on, what days he's going to be gone, and especially for times when people want to come see games. This really helps for him to just reference his phone, and it's a quick reference. And I asked, is it worth the time that you put in for including all of these practices and games? Because it does take him, he said, about 3 hours, just to sit down and enter these in day by day, because some of the practices aren't recurring. So you can't enter just one thing in and have it apply to a Monday through Thursday thing. The practices change, the meetings change, and nothing really is super consistent. So therefore, he does have to go through day by day. And while he feels like it can be frustrating at the time, it ends up being worth it for him because, again, as I said, it's all in one spot, and it's a very quick and easy reference for him to go to. And when it got into the level of detail that he records, as I said, for a doctor's appointment, he'll list, the name, the location, all of that. And then when I asked, do you also still use this calendar app in your off season? Just because, you're using it all season, do you continue it? And he said, yes, he gets so used to using it during his season that he continues to use it during the off season. So for him, that's, his physical therapy appointments or meeting up with friends. And he gets down to he'll enter in the event and what that means to him. And then he'll also include it, the meeting, we'll add the location. He'll include the person's name that he's going to be meeting, and also include the start time and an estimated time frame of how long it'll last. And then he will also set reminders. For doctor's appointments, he says he sets reminders 1 day ahead of time just so he can understand that he has that the next day. And in addition to that, since doctor's appointments, are not regular things, he also includes a handwritten Post-it note. He pulls that out and puts it in a place that he's going to see it the next day just so he remembers that he's got this going on today. So he'll write out his Post-it note the night before and then stick it to the fridge because he'll always be going to the fridge so he can see it right there, front and center, as well as the reminders that he gets. And he gets the day ahead reminder for a doctor's appointment, but he also does an hour ahead reminder as well as a 15-minute ahead reminder. And for him, I asked, what the 15-minute reminder is if he just got an hour one. And he said the 15-minute reminder for him is to let himself know that he needs to be getting out the door. And I said, what if that location is further away than 15 minutes? Are you just going to be late? And he's very much an on-time person. So I know he does not like to be late. So he said he'll adjust the reminders for the location. So if something's 30 minutes away, he'll set a 30-minute reminder. And I said, how do you understand what those reminders mean if they do vary? And he said that anything under an hour reminder usually means that means it's time for him to get out the door. So if it's 45 minutes, he understands it's going to be a 45-minute drive somewhere just so he can make sure that he's on time. And then I asked, how often you reference your calendar. And he said a couple times a week, and he always does it on Sunday or Monday just so he can see the week ahead. And we always review the week ahead just so we can understand what he has coming up that week and the days that he'll be gone. And so we always look at this on Sunday or Mondays. And then he also will look at it day by day just to understand that he's got practice in the morning, followed by physical therapy, and then he and I may have something planned in the afternoon. So he'll always check it day by day. And then, I asked why he likes to do this, and he said when he looks ahead at the week, it gives him an overview of what his week looks like. How many games he's going to be having that week. Is it 3 games? Is it 1 game? Is it none? And just helps him mentally prepare for the week ahead and also prepare as a family for the week ahead. And then I asked, how did you choose this calendar app instead of just keeping a calendar separate or anything like that? Why did you choose this one? And he said he didn't have an additional app that he wanted. He just saw this was standard on the iPhone and started working in the calendar. He felt like it was easy enough to use and it had the depth that he was looking for because he wasn't looking for something super in depth. And he said this has worked for him and it's worked for him for the past few years. So it's something he'll continue to use. And I asked, do you keep any other notes anywhere? Is there any other places that you keep like important notes? And he said, no, I don't think so. And then when I prompted again, he was like, oh, actually, I do keep things in my notes. And if you go into his notes, you can see that he does list out a bunch of different things. He lists out his to-dos, the to-dos for the week or to-dos for the next few months that he's got something that he has to plan ahead for and that is going to take time for. He'll include that in his notes section. And then also grocery lists. Like, as I said, he'll continue to put grocery lists in his notes section before he doesn't include it in his calendar. Oh, I'm almost getting to 7 minutes, so I'm going to pause this one and I'll come back.